Good day, everyone. Welcome to Virtual Concert Hall's live music channel. You just saw a little peek preview of the music which we're going to enjoy throughout today's show. My name is Ouspenskaya, and I'm hosting this program for you today from the Washington, D.C. suburb in Vienna, Virginia. I'm very excited to interview and to listen to incredible music performances by American performer, composer, and recording artist Gregory C. Brown. He's our guest for this show today in the studio. It's my team's great pleasure to serve musicians and music lovers out there by providing performances and music which is live, interactive, which brings us closer and more connected, and which brings valuable inspiration to all audiences. And this is because our unwavering passion to be connecting musicians and audiences in real time, music performances and live programs from around the globe. This season is packed. We have an incredible array of shows and events, both in person and live streamed. Together with our collaborators, we're producing a 4-concert season at the Carnegie Hall this season. We collaborate with several world-class orchestras in different countries. We showcase artists and arts organizations in our daily shows, like today's one. And we also produce music films, and we host many auditions. Auditions are very important because that's our way to invite and to give an opportunity to many musicians out there to perform on the world-renowned stages with great conductors and wonderful orchestras all over the world. Let's take a quick look at what we have in store going on this season. That's a packed season, isn't it? And I want to give a shout out to our own composer in residence, Ala Lowry. You heard her music twice already in the introduction of the show, where we saw the globe, and this little trailer as well. And coming up, we have 2 auditions in just a few weeks. The first one in May 17th through 21, and then the following month, June 14th through 17th. Those are dedicated to the season 2024-25 and the season 2025-26. We are auditioning musicians to participate in the Carnegie Gala concerts. We're taking people from virtual stage straight to Carnegie Hall. You audition in the virtual stage in the finals. You hear the feedback from the judges and from conductors and music presenters right away. And if you're selected for the concerts, you'll go straight to the Carnegie Hall stage. Let's see a quick clip introducing the details about those auditions.
Perform on our gala at Carnegie Hall. Auditions for the 2024-2025 season will be happening soon. We have opportunities for composers to have their works premiered and professionally recorded with the Leonard String Quartet, opportunities to perform a concerto with the New York Chamber Players and Orchestra Manhattan. Composers may also submit their scores to be premiered by these 2 fabulous orchestras. Solo opportunities, chamber music opportunities, and opportunities for large ensembles as well. receives evaluations from the finest musicians, have a press interview, be featured on our daily internet TV show, receive certificates, medals, and a video of your performance, and have opportunities for many other awards. Applications are currently available on our website. Don't miss out on your opportunity to present your music on this world-renowned stage. We look forward to hearing your performances.
All right, but if Carnegie Hall is not your goal, we collaborate with many organizations around the world. We are really blessed with a lot of people who are supporting this movement, bringing musicians, music venues, music lovers, and audiences together and closer. So we have many orchestras now joined the Call Orchestra project, where you will audition to perform a concerto with the orchestra in different countries, or if you're a composer, submit the scores for consideration to be presented by those orchestras. And by the way, our team currently is in Cairo in Egypt, preparing for the orchestral rehearsals and the presentation of the Call Orchestra concert in the Cairo Opera House, which is, by the way, the biggest classical music stage in the entire Africa. So we have our soloists in there, we have our team in there, and the orchestra and the conductor are preparing. And after that, we're going to Zlin in Czechia to present a concert with the Bohuslav Martinu Philharmonic. And if I didn't bore you to death yet, there is one more clip. So we also invite musicians, leaders of music organizations, educators, teachers, young artists, managers, publishers, music producers, everyone who has a real important impact on our industry of music and music entertainment and education, to our daily shows of music and musicians around the globe. And today is a very exciting show. I will be interviewing Gregory Brown, who is in our studio, and who will be a featured soloist at the concert next season at the Carnegie Hall. Mark the date. Carnegie Hall in New York City, February 17th, 2024 at 7 p.m. You'll hear Greg live on the stage of the Carnegie Hall. And if you will be in New York on those dates, please, we would like to see you in the concert hall. So Greg is an American performer, composer, and recording artist. He has released over 25 CDs. Mark that number, it's a lot. Either under his own name or in various other projects. His most recent album, Fire and Rain, was released in September 2023 and was recorded at the famous Sun Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. He has performed across the US, Canada, and Europe, including St. Patrick Cathedral in Dublin, and we'll hear some of those performances from Ireland. He has taught guitar professionally for over 25 years, including Mary Baldwin University and other private institutions. He is currently teaching privately in his hometown in Charlottesville, Virginia. He's not too far from me, and in Bridgewater College. Gregory's musical interests move well beyond the borders of the United States, across Europe and into Asia. He cites such diverse influences as Beethoven, Eddie Van Halen, Paganini, and countless composers of traditional Spanish flamenco music. Okay, Greg will be making his Carnegie Hall debut on February 17th, 2025. But today we have him in our studio, and I would like to invite Greg to join me on screen, and we'll have a really interesting conversation. Greg, welcome. It's a great pleasure to have you with us.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for having me on today.
It's wonderful. I have so many questions, some of them hard questions. And
Okay.
if you don't mind, I'm going to dive right into
Yeah, do it.
what motivates you to continue composing, recording, performing, teaching, putting out new projects, and keep going in this field.
That's an excellent question. It's funny over the years. I mean, obviously the music business is a very tough business.
Oh, yes, it
Um,
is. That's why I
and
ask.
yes, and so it's there's part of me that it's just like, okay, should I do something else or should I try something else or and I just can't not do it. I just love it. I love all the aspects of it. I love just the creating aspects of it, writing, notating, scoring things out, learning more, reading and following other composers. And then obviously just the recording process, and then getting on the road and taking it to people and seeing their reaction. The ultimate connection is when you're connecting with an audience. And I still, after 40 plus years of performing, I still love every minute of it.
Do you perform quite a bit? How is it going for you with performing and especially live in person performances after the pandemic? Because there's just a lot changed.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I'm a little bit more selective, I guess, and I'm working on a chamber music project right now, which is kind of working virtually with artists around the world. So it depends. I'm doing an artist in residence at a conference this summer at an island in the North Atlantic, which is kind of cool. So it's kind of it's still happening, but it's a little bit it is a little bit different of the way things are being done.
Do you feel like it worked better before, or those changes are just disrupting the industry, or those changes are bringing new opportunities?
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, I try not to dwell on the past. I can't change it. I'm trying to accept things as they are. But I do think there are opportunities now with technology. I've done virtual clinics. I've done virtual concerts now. I teach students virtually. They can be. I mean, I have students from all over that I would have never had the possibility to even work with before that, as opposed to the traditional, knocking on my door kind of thing. So I think it has opened up opportunities in a lot of ways. But it's still tricky, without a doubt.
Well, we have a few little snippets of your actual performances so that people get some peek preview of the concert where you're going to be performing at the Carnegie Hall. Let's see. And I believe this is your own, the contrast as one of the clips we have from your concert in Dublin, right?
Yes.
That's your own composition. Can you just say briefly how did it come to be?
Sure, sure. It's funny. That was a tune that means a lot to me because it was written during the time when we had, where the writer's block kind of thing. And I remember I was at my aunt's farm in Central Virginia. It was like 40 plus acres, and my family went out, and I just happened to be, what you do, right? When everybody goes out, you're like, I have to practice. And so I was practicing, and literally this country storm came rolling through, and it was beautiful. And by the end of it, this piece came out, all the sections, and so it's kind of like a little musical, storm, I guess.
Oh, beautiful. Let's hear it.
Thanks.
What a beautiful piece. It does have that feel of nagging expectation and search, and then something, tumultuous coming in. And
Yeah. Thank
yeah,
you.
how
Thank
would
you.
you describe your compositional style?
Evolving.
Oh, that's a great word. I'm going to steal it from you.
Okay.
Who am I?
Okay.
Evolving person.
Yeah. Yeah. It's because we're I always loved the over the years people would ask Ellington what was his favorite piece of music that he wrote, and he would always say the one I'm writing right now. And I was, as a composer, I always thought that was it. Because everything is, as an artist, is cumulative. It's everything's building, and so yeah, I don't know. I think I don't know. I love Duke's answer for sure, but I
It's
like
a
to
great
think
answer.
of, yeah, I think of just evolving.
But you draw on many, many roots, compositional and performance, and I can see in your guitar technique, and you studied with like dozen or more great
Sure.
guitarists from very different styles
Yeah.
and backgrounds. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been fortunate. I mean, being an American guitar player, a lot of us get introduced to the guitar through blues and rock and popular music, and I surely play those as well, and enjoy that. And playing classical guitar is just another avenue in which I express myself, and so I love it. But yeah, with classical music, I mean, I love, Tan Dun's music from China, or I mean, the flamenco stuff. The Spanish music is fantastic, and obviously, I mean, Italy, I mean, Ireland, I mean, all of it. It's just each one has its own, it's like a buffet. There's so many
That's right.
great things everywhere, that
Yeah,
you can
that's so
kind of pick from.
interesting. People don't tend to cook bad foods or make bad music.
Right.
I guess it's just not worth the effort.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah.
That's interesting. I also noticed, we interview so many musicians, and a lot of musicians combine performance and composing and teaching. And we always ask, well, just send us the clips which you would like us to present as representative. You sent several, and we'll hear the rest of them today as well. And they're all of your own compositions.
Mhm.
That's a very interesting aspect of you. So I guess
Thank you.
composing is kind of the dearest part of that for you.
Oh yeah, huge. It's huge. I mean, there's still nothing. I don't know. Just writing and exploring, harmonic possibilities and expressions, and like I said, I've been doing this for a long time, and there's still tons of stuff I want to do, musically, and things to explore, and it's yeah. No, I love it. I love it.
I like how you repeat it over and again, and I want everyone to notice from 40 years of career as a performer and composer, Greg keeps coming back to that word explore. I think that's a key word in the profession for me as well. Let's explore the Eclipse. One more clip from your performance in Dublin.
Thank you.
What a fun piece!
Thank you.
And you're exploring some a real variety of guitar technique in there. Can you just tell us a little bit of your secrets?
Yeah. um, yeah, so there's definitely you can see the love, especially the right hand technique with the flamenco stuff for sure coming
And going
out.
on a fingerboard with your right hand, that's not a very usual way to play guitar.
That's fun. Yeah, I remember years ago I saw a video of Sabikis, the great flamenco guitar player, and there's like a video of a concert from like the 50s. It was on Spanish TV, and he's all doing that like back and forth on the neck, and it's fun, but you do get a different timbre out of the instrument, playing closer to the left than you do over the sound hole. And there's pizzicato stuff going on. There's even some blues stuff going on. You got a lot of seven chords, and arpeggios going on. And that's it. I mean, like I said, I grew up playing blues and rock, and I still love it, and classical music. And so it is, some of my stuff is kind of like just putting all that in a blender and seeing what comes out.
It's a fusion. Should we
It is
say
a fusion.
Yeah.
It is a fusion.
Not a blender. Come on.
Yeah, fusion. That's the more technical term. But yeah, and it's funny because I wrote that piece back in the 90s originally, and then I revisited it in 2017 when I saw the Eclipse in whatever year it was, 2017, and it
I
was
think it
in
was
the
2017. Yeah, that's right.
in the
I
Carolinas.
traveled to Carolina. I drove there to see that eclipse.
Yeah, I was there too. So I saw it in the Carolinas, and I went back and I revisited
Oh,
it.
that
And
must
I
have
kind
been you then, who I saw there.
Yes, I'm sure. But ironically, then I just saw the one a couple weeks ago in Cleveland. I went up to see the total, eclipse up
Yeah,
there
yeah,
too.
that's
So
right.
it's an amazing thing, and so so that was kind of the inspiration for this piece.
Interesting. Yeah, I saw that technique of going on the fingerboard and this. I have no idea how you guys do that. I'm a pianist, but I saw
Right.
it once in person when Paco de Lucia,
Mm.
the flamenco guitarist, came to Moscow. That was years ago, and I
Sure.
remember looking at what he was doing with the right hand and going like, I never even imagined guitarists can do this.
Yeah, well, he was great. He was one of a kind. I had the opportunity to see him years ago, and he was. Yeah, I mean, what can you say?
It sticks with you for the rest of your life, right?
It does. Yeah, no, it is. It's a spiritual experience. I mean, it moves you beyond. It's great for sure.
Yep. Well, that piece really reminded me, and the way you play it with such fluency and
Thank you.
ease, as though it's easy, it's not. But
Yeah.
it reminded me of Paco. I was looking at that clip
Mm.
before preparing this program and going like, "That's Paco's technique right there."
Well, it's funny too because obviously that's the very Spanish technique, what they call the rasgueado, the fast drumming, and there's many different combinations. But because the world's become smaller with technology, that technique has been picked up in different genres and used in different ways. There's Rodrigo Gabriela. Actually, we're playing in my town tonight, Gabriela uses a lot of that right hand flamenco, Spanish, technique stuff. Nikita Koshkin, you mentioned Moscow. Nikita uses that in some of his pieces as well. It's fantastic.
It's expressive. Yeah.
It is. It's very cool. Well, and I think that's what hooked me too, is coming through learning classical guitar with a rock background, because it's a very rock attitude kind of thing, to have coming out and to play that. I was definitely attracted to it.
Yeah, I love how it's really in your pieces very balanced. There is definitely the classical guitar is like a foundation of it. You're a classical guitarist, but all
Yeah.
those other fusion elements
Yeah.
really spice it up and dress it up, and that's beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you.
I have more questions before we go
Please.
into those. I'd like to hear one more piece, Prelude and Romance, also from the same concert in Dublin. Beautiful. What a great
Thank you.
piece.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, listen, Greg, I have some questions. You know, you mentioned earlier in the program that you stick with the music and this field despite the fact that it's not the easiest one to navigate. And it definitely is so. I've read in your bio that not only you're a musician, you also have a degree in business. And
Yes.
I'm just wondering if you tap into that degree or other experience or some approaches. How do you approach the struggles and challenges to overcome the obstacles in on your path as a musician?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. It's not really tap into. It's got to be free flowing the whole time. I mean, it's I'm constantly dealing with and being aware of themes and changes in the industry. You know, be it streaming. Luckily, I found a lot of in the classical genre, people are still buying CDs, which are nice. Because that's a lot more lucrative for an artist than streaming. Streaming is usually about a third of a cent on average per stream, so that's not a lot of money. And I also look into you know. Mechanical licensing stuff for I've been fortunate to have music put in film or TV and things like that. That's also a nice lucrative. I mean, you have to, as a modern artist, you have to either you or have somebody working for you that is kind of juggling all the balls to look at different avenues and revenue streams and things like that. It is, I mean, it is the end of the day, it is a music, it is business. So it's the bills come. It doesn't matter. The bill collectors won't take sheet music for payment. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Yeah, they're looking for their money. So so anything, opportunities, either festivals or conferences or traveling, new opportunities. I've been lucky in a lot of ways to be able to do what I do. I do still have a day job, but it's also working in music education, which is very dear to my heart. So I teach as well, but I also work with music teachers in the area as well. So trying to create the next generation of musicians and appreciative of the arts in general. And so, but it is something that I'm always working on, and I'm always buying books and things just to try to just stay relevant and stay with I mean, talk about COVID and the post-pandemic as far as things have changed, in the arts, and trying to just stay on top of those changes. But it's a constant thing. I mean, I think you have to be, I know some people like us, will follow Facebook and you go, okay, well, Facebook is now turned towards kind of like the 40 and over crowd. And so if you're trying to get younger generation, so you have to be aware too of all the demographics that are involved with each of the social media platforms. And it's, yeah, no, it's a challenge. It's like a full-time job in itself, but at the end of the day, it's, I can write a piece of music and perform for my fish, but it's not really the same, experience, So if you want to get out and play with people and get as much exposure, and share your art with the world, it's kind of a necessity. I found, at least.
Well, you have a business mind. Obviously, you went for one of your degrees to the business school, and I'm listening to every word you say because it's just so important, and it's very true. And a lot of times, you're not going to hear the blunt truth about what it takes to be successful in the music field, and that's what you're exposing. That it's
Yeah.
not just focused on the notes and sheet music, like you said. You can't pay the bills with sheet music.
Yeah.
Is that a good thing, you think, for musicians to be sort of thrown into the waters and to have to swim larger pond than the music itself?
Oh, I mean, obviously, in a perfect world, I wish I could just spend all day playing and writing, but that's just, again, that's not going to float the boat. So it's um, if you're fortunate, to be, and obviously too, I remember somebody told me years ago that and I haven't checked this recently, but it was like 3 or 5% of the music that's purchased in the world is classical music. Pop music is huge, somewhere else. And then you look at classical guitar, within that 3 to 5% is another small, because for each instruments, we all have our heroes, of whatever instrument we're studying. And and most of the mainstream aren't aware of those. And so you have to put it in perspective of what you're doing, and who you can reach. But that also makes it a little nicer too, that you can make a huge impact, quickly, if with putting in the right time and get notice. So it's I wish it wasn't so, but it's funny when you and again, you have to look through history. Originally all the arts were funded by the churches, and then, the Romantic period, you had the patrons, the rich people that were patronizing the arts and stuff. And most of that's gone away, and everybody's kind of competing for the same grants and it gets tricky.
Interesting. So, what do you think the aspiring young musicians who want to dedicate their careers to the music because they feel that's the gift they have and that's the path they want to take? They're in school. They'll be out of school very soon. What do you think is the most important thing for them to understand so that they're not thrown out of the school disoriented and hoping for a patron or a church to come from the 17th, 18th century, pick them up and make their life, all lush and glorious?
Right. I mean, a lot of it. I mean, number one, the music comes first. I mean, really, for an artist, that's why we do what we do. Is we create because of the music, whatever we want to share and convey. That's number one, And so, but as far as getting their name out there in recognition, you can work through. Hopefully, your teachers will be able to help you kind of get you in the direction. I've been very fortunate with that. Obviously, social media is big. I mean, a lot of people have gotten noticed through social media. Networking, forums, groups, things like that. There's always new, groups that are going on. But also work on your individuality of the artist. I think a lot of people it's what do you bring as to the table that's different than say anybody else that's out there, and I think people, like audiences, get attracted to that. Like, oh, it's instead of playing the same standard repertoire. I mean, that's been kind of my thing, is I play mostly my own music when I perform, and they go, oh, okay, this will be different. It will, and so it's but that's also a unique audience member as well, that is open to hearing a program of mostly music they've never heard before, unless they've streamed it or whatever. And so but you have to be aware, and you just have to keep trying, keep evolving, and keep I mean, there's lots of things I tried over the years that I thought would be great and didn't work out, or successes, and you're just always trying to find different ways to get your art out into the universe.
Thank you so much, Greg. This is an incredible advice. I wish I heard that advice when I was in school.
Thanks.
Always be on the lookout, always be aware of the changes, always be evolving, and always going out and putting yourself out. And Greg is a very successful musician in many aspects, as an artist and as a businessman and as a manager of your own art, and 25 CDs out there. That's a huge accomplishment, artistically and
Thank you.
Practically. It's not easy to make even one.
Yeah.
So,
That's true.
So the advice you heard today from Greg for many of those aspects, consider it an honest and a very generous advice, which is aimed to help everyone out there trying to make a successful life and career in music.
For sure.
Yeah, and we are going to say goodbye, and we have a quite great piece for the dessert of our program of Greg's own compositions, and that'll be a farewell video. Before we see the video, I want to thank you, Greg, very much for your participation and for sharing your art and your insights.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on. I greatly appreciate it.
I'm very much looking forward to hear you at a concert. So remember, the date at the Carnegie Hall, February 17th, 2025, you'll hear original compositions by Greg Brown on the stage of the Carnegie Hall. So we'll say goodbye to Greg, and
Awesome.
we'll hear
Thank you.
the farewell piece. And that was a farewell by Greg Brown, who was our guest today. And we had a lively, very interesting conversation. If you missed the show, it'll be available for everyone as a video on many, many platforms. Before I sign off today, I want to remind everyone we have a few very interesting events coming up. We have concerts coming to you in live broadcast format from Cairo Opera, from Bohuslav Martinu Philharmonic in Czech Republic. And we have auditions coming up on May 17th through 25th and 21st, and June 14th through 17th. Deadline to apply for those auditions for the upcoming seasons is May 10th, and we are auditioning artists to join our Carnegie season 24-25, and 2 seasons with the call orchestra, with many orchestras around the entire globe. And you see on the screen the websites. On those websites, please check them out. You will find out all the details, what to do, how to do, and how to get on those stages, how to be seen and heard by world-renowned conductors. We have also Beethoven shows every Thursday and Sunday. Myself and Chris Au, Australian pianist, we're exploring the Beethoven magnificent 9 symphonies. Those are documentaries which were produced in collaboration with architects of music, based on fantastic narration and storytelling by Lawrence Rapchak, who for many years was the pre-concert lecturer with the Chicago Symphony. Now you can hear his absolutely incredible lectures and see those films together with us every Thursday and Sunday. And I want to thank everyone, all of our collaborators, organizations, companies, artists, publishers, music producers from around the entire world. You see on the screen so many logos. These are not just pictures. These are people and communities which join us, which help us. They bring their expertise, energy, their resources to continue to promote music and connection between artists and the audiences, and between artists themselves. And I want to thank our absolutely incredible team of virtual concert halls behind the scenes. These are musicians, TV, internet TV producers, graphic designers, hosts, scriptwriters. Thank you all very much, and special thanks go to incredible pianist Frana Rusinovic, who was our director for today's show. And I want to thank also again Greg Brown, who joined us for this show. We are on just about every major platform. If you missed us on Instagram, go to Vimeo or go to YouTube or Twitch and so on. And we are on 50 plus channels and platforms in various countries. Check us out. Send us a message, get in touch. We would like to make a connection with you. And with that, thank you very much. See you tomorrow.
No matter where you are or who you are, music connects us all. We started with a dream, but now we are paving the future. Welcome to the Sound Expressiva Global Competition. Fully virtual, yet bringing musicians closer together than ever before, now on a global scale. True live, inclusivity, diversity, connection, community. An extraordinary array of judges. Get noticed by companies all over the world. Prizes, scholarships, performance opportunities. Apply to be a part of the most exciting congregation of artists like nothing you've ever seen before. We guarantee quality and leave no musician behind. We can't wait to hear you on the virtual stage.